First up, coming to the microphone tonight, would you guys please put your hands together for the best man today? Make some noise for Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. You're far too generous. Hear ye, hear ye. Good evening, and thank you all for coming to my speech. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackson, and since we've been kids, I've kind of been Thomas's hero, for a lack of a better term, role model, a father figure at times, no offense, Jason. But that's not the point tonight. I'm here to honor Thomas and remind you all how great of a guy he is. Even though he's not even trying to pick up chicks anymore, so dude, really, you should be doing this for me. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, so I know Thomas pretty well. Side by side, we've shared so many chapters of our lives together. From playing t-ball when you got your first black eye, and I first discovered the beauty of picking flowers in an outfield, to playing water polo together when you got your first concussion, and I first discovered the beauty of picking flowers on the grass outside of the pool deck. I've shared some of my fondest memories with you, but I've also shared so many incredibly fun mistakes that turned into learning opportunities that we may or may not have learned from. One of my favorites revolved around us playing dodgeball with a lollipop in your house. Remember where this one's headed, buddy? With a lollipop we had likely gotten at the book fair at school earlier, since Lord knows we weren't there to buy books. We would take turns throwing it as hard as we could at each other's heads. Throwing that lollipop with the same tenacity that one would a hand axe brought us so much joy, but like all good things, that came to an abrupt end. And as a wedding gift, I'd actually like to come clean about this. It was Thomas's fault. So I threw an absolutely perfect laser beam right at Tommy's skull, and at the last second, he makes a genius move to duck, causing it to break the window behind him, or to crack the window. But regardless of Thomas's blunder, we were always two to come up with elegant solutions. So we figured that a well-placed birthday card would effectively conceal the damage, hide the evidence, right? It didn't, and we very quickly found that out. But I can say right now, in front of everyone, that there is no one else I would rather repay my debt through yard work with than Thomas. For those that don't know me that well, I'm a bit of a homebody, so I have Thomas to thank for always getting me out of my comfort zone and pushing me to try new things. You are the most outgoing, encouraging, loyal, and supportive friend that I have ever had and ever will have. And I know these qualities will make you an incredible husband to Carlie. From the first time I met Carlie, I could tell immediately that Thomas felt very strongly about her. Since it took him about 12 minutes into dating her to introduce her to his entire friends and family. But once we all got to know Carlie, we really couldn't blame him. Your joyous and fun-loving energy is contagious when you enter a room and for the people around you. I really could not be happier to hand down the mantle of Thomas's role model, idol, hero to you. Carlie has done what I thought would be impossible. She has made me love Thomas even more. She has made him a better man, and I can still see her influence on him when I'm spending time with him alone. And I will always be grateful for that. To finish up this rambling, oh my God, I don't have a drink. What a nightmare. Quick. Thank you. Shout out my dad. Round of applause for my dad. Yeah. Okay, shout out Bill Walthall. If we could all raise a drink to Thomas and Carlie on this fantastic occasion, you guys are really the first of my friends to be entering this new stage of your lives together, and it's a testament to what can happen when you find the right person. I'm beyond excited for you both. You complement each other perfectly, and I cannot wait to see the next milestones that you two will reach together. To Thomas and Carlie.
All right, guys. Next up, coming to the microphone tonight, would you guys please welcome the maid of honor today? Make some noise for Emily.
Can I lower this? Thank you. Okay, so I first wanted to start off by saying thank you for everyone coming to Carlie and Thomas's big day. For those who don't know me, I'm Carlie's little sister, Emily, also the golden child of the family. And I'm here to let you guys know that she actually chose me voluntarily. So, let's just say growing up with Carlie was an experience in the least. She did not like me from the start, from when I was born. For example, she asked when she could return me to Walmart. Not even a Target, a Walmart. Despite stealing her books and toys, one day we both agreed that we were both actually pretty okay people. And now look where we are. I'm actually your maid of honor, and we somewhat like each other sometimes. We even have the matching tattoos we talked about since I was 12. And with everything we went through during our childhood, I'm shocked to where we are, and now look, you have the coolest and funniest little sister ever. And you're decent too. Carlie, you have found someone who loves you just as much as you love your color-coordinated, alphabetical, and genre-organized book collection. And Thomas, you found someone who will also color-coordinate your t-shirt drawer, even though you are colorblind. Good luck with that one. Now, I think it was very important to tell you, everyone in this room, about a story and how it came to this particular night. As you all know, we moved Carlie and Thomas to Nashville, and we had this really long road trip journey, whatever. Second leg of the first day of the trip, 15 minutes in, Thomas and I were in his car alone. Party in the USA was blasting by Miley Cyrus. He turns it down suddenly. He goes, oh, I lost my speech. Anyways, he goes, can I ask you something? What's up, Thomas? Can I have, permission to marry your daughter? My answer? No. Now, you guys may think I'm joking, but ask him. It was actually no. Now, the rest of that 4 and 5 hours of that drive was maybe the most awkward experience you would ever think of, and it was awful. And I mean, even if you asked me now, I would still tell him no, and I think it's a little bit too late for me to still give him my permission, but we both know the actual answer. I wish you both the very best. I hope you guys stay as strong as your arguments against Thomas chewing entirely too loudly. Hopefully she doesn't kill you. And I'm very glad that I finally have a brother that I can finally continue teasing about his chicken legs. So here's to Carlie and Thomas, and congratulations.
All right, guys. Next up, coming to the microphone, would you please put your hands together for the father of the bride? Make some noise for Brian.
I'm not you. So those of you who do not know me, I am Brian, or for the last 24 years, I've been called Beeson's dad. And it does cover both kids, so I'm good there. First, I wanted to thank everybody for coming. It's been a long, long road here. Getting out here to Tennessee for them, for us, and I do appreciate everybody coming. I also wanted to thank Joni and Jason. Without them, we wouldn't have Thomas here, so kind of important. All the support and guidance you've given them, we do really appreciate. So Carlie told me I had 3.5 minutes, and I wasn't allowed to ad-lib stuff, so I wrote a speech. And yeah, so you guys can read it later. So somebody asked me when the first time I thought about one of my kids actually getting married. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I gotta write this speech. What am I gonna say? And I sat and I was staring at the computer. And, well, the computer was blank for a good hour. Then I paced the house, and Janae was yelling at me because I was irritating her while she was working. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, what do I say? And then it came to me. It's like, okay, first time I ever thought I'd have a kid get married was the day she was born. Made me cry, and this is going to make me cry too. So, they handed this little baby to me, and I'm looking at her, and my first thought was, wow, really, you cannot screw this up. So we were sitting there, and I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, I don't think I could love a person more. And the only thing I could think of is pure love from Carlie. She looked at me, big, beautiful eyes, stuck her tongue out at me, and peed in my hand. That was the moment that I knew she was gonna take on the world, and she's never disappointed. So when Carlie was about a month old, she had colic, and she screamed and cried pretty much for the next 6 months. At least that's what we were told, because we've blocked it out, and I remember very little of that 6 months. But I would go to work, and I would come home, and Janae would be standing in the doorway with screaming baby Carlie and her keys in one hand. She would hand the baby to me and walk out, get in the car, and drive around the block about 300 times. She never left the block. She just kept driving around the block because it was quiet. And I would take Carlie, and I would go and I'd put all my stuff down, and we'd sit on the couch, and she'd be screaming and screaming and screaming. And I'd start telling her about my day. And in about 2 minutes, she was out cold. So I did what everybody tells you to do with a brand new baby. And that's when they sleep, you sleep. So I'd lay down on the couch, take a nap with her. Janae would come home about 45 minutes later, pissed off, kicking the couch, yelling at us, hitting me with a pillow, because I got her to sleep. Janae hadn't had sleep in months. And I used to tease her about the fact that I was the Carlie whisperer. But let's be honest, the truth be told, I just bored her to death. She fell asleep finally. The reason I tell this story, well, first off, is because it still pisses Janae off a little bit. And secondly is because loving somebody is hard, especially when they're at their worst. And Thomas, I know you have seen her at her worst. And you've been on the end of all of that. And you're still here. Then she introduced you to our family. And you're still here. So you're either really a glutton for punishment or you really, really love her. And I am okay with either. But to be completely honest and a little bit serious, there's really only 3 things I can tell you. 3 pieces of advice I can give you. 1, marriage takes work. You have to work at it every day. Even when you want to smother each other with pillows, and that's only happened to me once. Maybe. You still have to work at it. Second one, always communicate with each other. Be each other's best friend, your sounding boards. We always say to each other, be brutally honest. Even if you know it's going to hurt me, telling me a lie and then me finding out the truth later is going to hurt more. So be honest, be brutally honest, because you'll appreciate and respect the honesty. But communicate everything, from bad days to good days to when you come home from work and she's sitting on the couch with a stick that she peed on that's positive. Communicate everything. And the last piece, tell each other I love you every single day. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed, when you're at work and you're sending each other stupid, silly emojis, tell each other you love her. Because in the hard times and the times you want to smother each other with a pillow, that's the best time to say it. Tell them they love you. Make sure they know it, because honestly, those 3 words, they're why we're here. They're why you guys are where you're at, and it's what's going to take you through everything. And the last thing I got to say is, and I left my drink over there, so somebody's going to have to raise it for me. Raise your glass to Thomas and Carlie. I love you guys. Congratulations. Carlie, you will always be my Pookie Bear. Thomas, welcome to the family, and I'm sorry.
All right, guys. And we got our fourth and final speech coming up here right now. So please make some noise for the father of the groom. Give it up for Jason.
As always, fight on. All right, that's a ridiculously tough act to follow. I don't think mine's going to be as funny, but I'll try. So, if you don't already know based on an introduction, the fact that in 20 years, Thomas is going to look just like this. I'm Tommy Boy's dad. So, quick question. Just by a show of hands, how many of the attendees are from California or a state other than Tennessee? That's the whole damn room. I can honestly say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for coming. This wasn't easy for anyone, and we appreciate you all being here. So that's... If you take a look and take a moment to look around, you're going to see that everybody here really means something to the bride and groom. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You've all had a profound impact on either the bride or the groom, or you're not here. And as they say, to raise a child, it takes a village. And when you look around, this is their village. And I think we've done a pretty good job of raising them. We got two pretty, successful people there. They're both college graduates, within 4 years. In and of itself, an absolute miracle. And I think the Coreys and the Beesons are very happy to share this experience with you. So I was only given 3.5 minutes, so I could say a lot about Tommy Boy. But I'm going to keep it relatively short because I don't have a lot of time. So I can say this, son, you were definitely an adventurous little boy. What was said about him so far is probably just touching the tip of some of the adventures that this young man has gotten into. So I can touch on a few more. So whether it was him volunteering to be the child handcuffed in school, or just doing something ridiculously goofy just for a laugh, you were never afraid to be the center of attention, and I truly admire for the courage that that takes. Not everybody can do that, just to be recklessly abandoned, and I think that's actually probably one of the things that got you your bride. So now I look back just so far on your trials and tribulations. I'm definitely ecstatic to see that you got this joyous moment alive and in one piece. You growing up may have cost your mom and I 2 cars, and we may have received a not so gently worded cease and desist letter from AAA, notating that I could continue to have insurance with them, but under no circumstances was Thomas Corey allowed to be one of the insured. The overall point is you made it, and we're all happy to be here. So all joking aside, son, I absolutely love you. There's no doubt. I mean, heck, you look just like me. I admire the man that you're becoming, and I am so incredibly proud to have you not only as my son, but one of my friends. 1 second. So, when Thomas asked me about my thoughts on following Carlie to Tennessee, I wasn't happy, but it wasn't about me. So I asked him one question, and I was serious. Do you love her? And without hesitation, he said, yeah. Yeah, I do. Okay, that was pretty easy. Well then, son, you have your answer. And yes, you should. So I do believe in my lifetime that will probably end up being the greatest advice that I've ever given. Because look where we are now, with these smiles on everyone's faces around us, and where we've just gotten done sweating profusely outside in Tennessee. Carlie, what can I possibly say other than you are my son's North Star? You truly make him a better person. Honestly, if not for you, I'm quite sure that Cal-Lu, that's the college they went to, would have worked out a little differently for Thomas. He was certainly on the verge of exhausting all of my not-so-plentiful patience for taking school and ultimately life seriously. And then, bam, a miracle happened. And that miracle was absolutely you, Carlie, and I thank you. From the bottom of Joniism in my heart, we welcome you to our family. So, you've probably heard all of this, actually, because these communication offerings, if I can offer any couples advice, don't go to bed angry with words unspoken. Make sure that you respect each other in public and in private. Make sure that when you're building your lives, you're building it together. And keep in mind that all of your successes are her successes, and his successes, or vice versa. And most importantly, make time for each other. I can't say it enough that you, on both sides, need to recognize when an attempt is made to make time, you gotta recognize it. It can't just be the fact that you anticipate that it's there. It is a sacrifice, one way or the other. So you definitely gotta make time for each other. And you gotta know that the most important thing to her needs to be you, and the most important thing for you needs to be her. Acknowledge that you're always each other's best friends, and most importantly, relish in it. Because not everybody has a relationship like that. You guys are kind of spoiled. You've watched two parents that have been together for a very long time. And that's just not the way that it is. And I can assure you, and I'm sure they can say the same thing, it takes a lot of work. So, I don't happen to have one, but let's hoist our glasses to the happy couple and clear soulmates, Tommy and Carlie. Cheers.
All right, guys, put your hands together one more time for all four of those toasts. Those were great. Also, they went 4 for 4 on not bringing up a drink for a toast tonight, too, which was pretty awesome.